Sometimes the universe just drops something in your lap, and that's what this entire story has been. It was, 6 months ago when they dropped that teaser, and they broke all the Star Wars records, meaning the most disliked trailer that we've seen in Star Wars history. Sitting now, as we speak, at 710,000 downvotes.
Woo!
Still not even 200,000 likes yet.
Woo!
But there's a reason that they're out shilling so hard. And by they, I just mean Lucasfilm in general. They got a lot riding on this. There's a lot riding on the Acolyte. This thing's been in production for a while. It's been predicted to be one of the biggest disasters we've seen. And now we know that this thing is expensive as fuck. The Acolyte budget is reportedly around $180 million for 8 30-minute episodes. So it took you 4 years to make a 4-hour television program.
Jeez.
And it cost you nearly $200 million. Now, this, I believe this will be the most expensive series in history when you factor in how much time is actually like associated with this stuff. Because Andor, 12 episodes of Andor cost $250 million. That's a lot. But those episodes were fairly good length. And you're talking about 8 30-minute episodes at $180 million. You look at like price per minute. I don't think there's any doubt that The Acolyte is going to be the most expensive Disney Star Wars project.
And I don't even think they're going to be 30 minutes. I think it's probably like 22 fucking minutes of actual footage. And then the credits are going to like,
yeah,
credits
you can usually like tack on 4 between the previously on and then the credits.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be like a 22. Holy shit. This is going to be bad. So we've seen a lot of footage from this show through the trailers. When I say we've seen a lot of footage, because we've only got 8 30-minute episodes, which are ultimately going to be about 22 to 24-minute episodes. There's not going to be a lot, dude. It's just going to be a diversity showcase. That's all it's going to be. That's all this is going to be, is a showcase of diversity. And they've already preemptively said that the fans are sexist for not liking it because they know the fans are not going to like it. They know the criticism is going to be wild. Holy shit.
That brings us to the headline. Kathleen Kennedy, on the same fucking week that George Lucas basically says, Star Wars isn't really Star Wars anymore, Kathleen Kennedy does an interview with the New York Times to promote The Acolyte. Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy says women Star Wars creators attacked by male-dominated fan base. It's terrifying. Kathleen Kennedy says women in Star Wars have it harder with toxic fandom.
Holy
Lucasfilm
shit.
President Kathleen Kennedy comments on how the male-dominated Star Wars fan base tends to be more toxic with the females of the franchise. When we think about this, right, obviously they put this character, lead character from The Acolyte, right next to Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico and Daisy Ridley's Rey, right, to try to tell you that's what's about to happen. Maybe what's about to happen, but the common thing that these 3 characters might all have in common, we don't know yet with this one, is they're probably going to be dog shit characters. That is the problem. And if you just want to believe the media, right? I want to believe the media for a second. They've been telling us stories for 2 decades about how terrible fans were to Jake Lloyd and to Ahmad Best, right? This male-dominated franchise that just bullied them so badly. That's weird, isn't it? What director has received more scorn? What creative for Lucasfilm received more scorn than any other person? Rian Johnson. It's weird. It's almost like if fans don't like something, they're going to voice their opinions.
And I ask, why wouldn't they put, I don't know, Princess Leia, maybe Clone Wars Ahsoka, and Ventress in this picture? Whoa, that would actually destroy the narrative, wouldn't it? The female characters just get a ton of hate, right?
Not for me, but yeah.
So, well, no, but generally speaking,
correct.
That would destroy their fucking narrative because their narrative is garbage. These are just terribly written characters. Nobody gives a shit about these characters. It has nothing to do with them being female. You can put some of these shitty male characters that Disney Star Wars has produced and put them on this picture too.
You could put Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi.
Yes, you can.
In this picture, right? Like that's the reality is they want to say, oh, they hate black people, they hate women. Where was all the hate from the same franchise for Leia, for Lando, for Mace Windu, for Padme Amidala? It wasn't there. Characters get criticized because people don't like those characters sometimes, regardless if they're white, black, Mexican, whatever, male, female, or in the case of Disney Star Wars, somewhere in between. But let's get into these quotes, I guess. The comments were made during an interview with the New York Times in promotion of the new Disney Plus series, The Acolyte. The Star Wars show has Leslye Headland on board as showrunner, and Kennedy said she already noticed her struggling before the series had even been released. Well, it still hasn't been released. For the Lucasfilm president, it seems terrifying for the women of the franchise. Operating within these giant franchises now with social media and the level of expectation, it's terrifying. I think Leslye has struggled a little bit with it. I think a lot of women who step into Star Wars struggle with this a bit more. Because of the fan base being so male-dominated, they sometimes get attacked in ways that can be quite personal. Do you think there were any, personal attacks levied against Rian Johnson? I feel like you could probably attest personally to some of those.
If you want to talk about who's been attacked more than anybody in Star Wars history, it's George Lucas. Who's been attacked more than anybody in Star Wars history. George freaking Lucas has dealt with more attacks than any female by a mile in Star Wars. This is a passionate fan base, period. When you have a passionate fan base, you're going to have passionate responses. You're not going to make them happy all the time. That is how fandom is. It has nothing to do with gender-specific bullshit. However, when you try and take characters and specifically present them based on their sexual preferences or their identity or their sex, whatever you want to call it, yes, they're going to get criticism specifically for their sex because you're defining them off of that. So that's not the fans' fault. Jesus, this is unbelievable, man. Holy shit, I can't believe we are here. Can't believe
that we're still here?
That we're still here, yeah. Holy fuck.
Why are we still here?
How is this happening?
Just to suffer.
How right can we be? Like, I am shocked at how right we are.
Along with having a woman serving as a showrunner, The Acolyte features multiple women in starring roles. The diversity has gotten the series referred to by some on social media as the Wokalite. But these kind of complaints have not deterred Lucasfilm from staying the course with representation in Star Wars. As Kennedy said, quote, "My belief is that storytelling does need to be representative of all people. That's an easy decision for me." It's crazy. I feel like I wasn't alive, back when this happened. But I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, somebody out there who was. I feel like Star Wars, a lot of people were able to connect to that story. Didn't matter what country they were from, what language they spoke, what religion they were, if they liked to fuck other dudes in the ass or not. I feel like everybody could connect to that type of story because it's about the characters, right? It's not about all this ancillary bullshit. It's about the story that they're going through. So you don't need to. You could have an all-black cast that, and a white person come along and be like, holy shit, this is a really fucking good movie. I love this. You could have an all-white cast. A black person comes across and says the same thing. But you have a dog shit story that at its heart is truly just based on propaganda, like we've been told this story will be when it comes to Leslye Headland. Well, there's a good chance a lot of people are going to reject that.
As you said, the reason that Star Wars worked and the reason that Star Wars became what it became is because it did have a universal connection with people. You didn't have to be anything specific to connect with Star Wars. That's why. If it was something that was specifically targeted towards a specific gender or sexual identity, it wouldn't have gotten as big as it was. It would have never became the universal success. And they've just abandoned all of them. Yeah.
Like, Lord of the Rings has been translated into, I think, like more fucking countries than anything except like the Bible or something insane like that, right? You're talking about for decades and decades and decades, Lord of the Rings has been beloved all around the world, regardless of who those characters actually look like or who they fuck.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's almost like people on a grand scheme don't really care about something like that. It's about the story. And that's what Star Wars is struggling with.